All right, so this lecture is on the concept of professional behaviors. Objectives are evaluate why nursing has become the most trusted profession, explore nursing behaviors that demonstrate professionalism, examine professional behaviors based on the ANA Code of Ethics, identify commitment to the profession, analyze one's level of commitment to the nursing profession, interpret concepts of organizational commitment in relation to the profession of nursing, analyze factors of professional commitment to the role of the nursing student, work ethic, differentiate various work ethics commonly seen in the four generations of nurses today in the workforce, examine the work ethics of generations as when working with an interdisciplinary team, and then connect the concept of work ethic to the behavior of the professional nurse. So, concepts related to professional behaviors. There's collaboration, which builds trust and prevents conflict, communication, which promotes reliability and accountability, and then ethics, which are professional behaviors that support ethical nursing practices based on the ANA, American Association of Nursing, or the ANA practice. There's professionalism. So the formation of individual into nurses through development, actualization, inquiry, empowerment, and innovation. So transformation can only occur with commitments to yourself, individuals, communities, organizations, and to your profession. Professional behaviors are based on technical knowledge and expertise, ethical principles, and clinical reasoning. The formation of individuals into nurses is a process that entails lifelong learning, experience, technical expertise, and interdependent collaboration. Professionalism is evaluated through communication, attire, and behavior. Know that you're always being observed and judged. Professional behaviors and their components become second nature after the torture of nursing school. Sure, you're glad to hear that. So, Benner in nursing development. So, Dr. Patricia Benner, she created this novice to expert nursing model, and it can be used to evaluate the process of how skill acquirement and exposure to patient care affect nursing development. So, her model recognizes as nursing skills and knowledge are obtained, the nurse's proficiency develops. So all of you will start out as novice nurses, and as you gain more time at the bedside, you move up to finally the expert stage of nursing development. Okay, quality and safety education for nurses, or the QSEN, they call them QSEN or QSEN competencies. So the QSEN initiative is designed to prepare nurses with the required knowledge, skills, and attitudes to foster continuous improvement of quality and safety in healthcare settings. The QSIN initiative developed competencies for both pre-licensure and graduate nursing students. And then the competencies include patient-centered care, teamwork and collaboration, evidence-based practice, quality improvement, safety, and informatics. And you can refer to their website, qsen.org or qsen.org for further information on that. So the ANA, professional role competencies. So the American Nurses Association advances the nursing profession by fostering high standards of nursing practice, promoting a safe and ethical work environment, bolstering the health and wellness of nurses, and advocating on healthcare issues that affect nurses and the public. So knowledge begins in school and continues throughout your nursing career. Expectation of each student is from enrollment throughout practice. That knowledge begins in school as soon as you're enrolled and then continues throughout your career. Competence involves awareness of positive and negative factors that affect patient care, and then accepting responsibility for your own knowledge, skills, and attitudes. Components of competence include culture, ethics, assuming responsibility of the nursing role, legal, professional, ethical, and client centered, knowing procedures and skills, maintaining documentation, and the ability to show compassion. Teamwork and integrity. So, teamwork, as we know, promotes communication, contributes to others' opinions of nurses as professionals, and improves the quality of care delivered to clients. Integrity includes adherence to strict moral and ethical codes. It follows the ANA Code of Ethics for Nurses, accepts feedback as a tool for improving delivery of client care, maintains accountability for actions, and freely admit to mistakes. Follow your state's Nurse Practice Act to never work outside your scope of practice. Integrity is doing the right thing even when no one is watching. So, having a positive attitude affects all surrounding and involved individuals. It can be difficult at times, but try to keep a positive attitude and attempt to turn negative attitudes into positive ones. So, if you can, look at the positive light of everything. Compassion can be demonstrated by advocating within the community and by communicating with politicians. What are some unprofessional behaviors and abuse of power? So, unprofessional behaviors can be defined by each state's Nurse Practice Act. Examples include substance abuse, excessive tardiness or absenteeism, also a breach of confidentiality. Abuse of power includes any attempt to use one's position to shame, control, demean, humiliate in order to gain advantage over that individual. Examples include sexual harassment, improper use of authority, which is transformational leadership, emphasizes principles over personality, facilitate progress and innovation in nursing, intimidation, and then there should be zero tolerance for those types of behaviors. All right, commitment to the profession. So, overview. Commitment. Make a commitment to the nursing profession. Become emotionally impelled to be involved. A nurse's commitment must be balanced with professional commitments, even if sometimes it goes against organizational commitment. Be actively involved in healthcare policy and financial decisions. It's essential for nurses to be actively involved. So, development of commitment and professional commitment. Development of commitment. Students who violate or ignore school policy are in danger of becoming a nurse who ignores practice and agency policy. Beginning and completing nursing school is an acceptance that you are willing to commit to the profession. Nursing is an obligation to protect others. Background checks and drug screens can be looked at as a proof of moral standards. Factors that can support professional commitment include belief in profession's code, role, goals, values, and morals, willingness to exert considerable personal effort on behalf of the profession, a strong desire to maintain membership in the profession, and a pattern of behaviors congruent with the nurse's professional code of ethics. So, types of commitment include affective, where there's satisfaction in helping others. It's about the desire to be a nurse. There's normative, which is based upon family or personal medical history. It's developed through the reception of benefits. And then continuance, which is associated with negative consequences, which means you're in it for finances or job security. You're not necessarily inclined to promote the profession. Here are stages of commitment. So there's the first stage, which is exploratory. You're learning about the profession. And the second stage is testing, where you're discovering negative aspects. Some people drop out of the profession at this stage. There's the third stage, which is passionate. You're realizing the positive and negative aspects of the profession. You want to contribute and improve it. There is the fourth stage where there's being quiet and bored. You're beginning to follow a routine of nursing. You're no longer anxious. And then the final stage is integrated, where you begin to see yourself as a nurse. You accept the positive and negative aspects of nursing. We had touched a little bit about stress and burnout on the last lecture, but I wanted to include it again. So, stress, recognizing stress, and we all know nursing is a stressful profession, and it may lead to burnout. So, preventing burnout, again, recognize your stress. Look at this picture. It makes me laugh just reading some of these things here. Um, you want to identify situations that produce stress and then take steps to reduce the stress. I found that I had to lower my expectations as a nurse and not be so hard on myself. So try to focus on yourself if you can, and when you do have the time. Relaxation, exercise, meditation is great. Uh, Work on being more assertive. Accept that errors and failures are expected and are learning experiences, and accept what cannot be changed. So, to reduce your stress, get involved in creating positive change, develop collegial support groups, participate in professional organizations, and counseling always can be helpful. Okay, question. A nurse educator teaches students about caring nursing practice. Which of the following situations shows that the student nurse is able to implement the whole idea of caring? The nurse is able to carve out time for a favorite hobby at least once a week. The nurse is a volunteer at church and school events. The nurse makes lists every morning so the day stays organized and planned. The nurse takes care of his elderly parents in addition to providing care to his immediate family. So let's take a few seconds here for you to think about your answer. Okay, it is imperative that nurses attend to their own needs because caring for yourself reflects how you care for others. As nurses take on multiple commitments, we do take on multiple commitments to family, work, school, community. There is the risk of exhaustion, burnout, and stress. So, none of the other options depict the nurse caring for self, only for other people or trying to stay on top of the many tasks involved in a daily routine. Okay, work ethic, belief in importance, moral worth of work. So, work ethic is a belief in moral worth of work. Development of work ethic begins in nursing school. So, work ethic overview. There is a high value on hard work and diligence. Apply yourself to the task at hand, a thorough approach to get work done right the first time. Take responsibility for mistakes, repair the damage, willingly accept the consequences, and learn from them. Utilize self discipline and self control. Another part of good work ethics involves attendance and punctuality. So, on time means being ready to begin at start of the shift. It means not clocking in right at 7 a.m. It means having your clipboard and pen and pencil right there ready to go, waiting for the off-going nurse. Frequent absences increase stress of other employees. It decreases productivity and it inconveniences others. So ensure there's a smooth transition of care. the responsibility to stay long enough to complete the work at hand. So if it becomes a habit, there's always corrective action or even dismissal. Reliability and accountability. So follow through on your commitments. Do not shift the blame, i.e., do not give an excuse or explain. Admit it and apologize. If a mistake is made, admit gracefully. Apologize to those who have been inconvenienced or harmed. Learn from the mistake and avoid making the same mistake twice. Attitude and enthusiasm. So, optimism means you're feeling that things will turn out for the best. Pessimism is belief that this situation is always bad, may worsen. Arrogance, you have excessive pride and a feeling of superiority, can be extremely dangerous. A false belief that the nurse is always right. Okay. Another thing we can look at is workforce by generation. So here's a graph from the U.S. labor force by generation from 1995 to 2015, and it highlights different areas of the workforce, including baby boomers, Gen Xers, millennials, and a graph that is from the Pew Research Center, and we'll go into it in the next slide. So it's just a good idea for you to understand workplace characteristics, and the who you're working with may have a different work ethic and value based on their generation. So if you look at veterans, baby boomers, Generation X, Generation Y, and this is just a good chart to look at in general. You can see what their ethics and values are, their work is, what style, leadership, interactive styles, how do they communicate, what did they like with feedback and rewards, messages that motivate them to work, and then what is their work and family life like. So this is really good, especially if you're noticing that you and another coworker are really at conflict with things. Maybe it has something to do with their workplace characteristics, and then you can approach this person differently. Okay, moving on. Let's review some questions here for you. Okay, the student nurse's free time on the unit as client care is completed. The student would best show commitment by checking in with each client again, reviewing the organizational disaster plan, following the charge nurse, or taking the assigned break early. I'll give you a few seconds to complete this. Okay, organizational and or professional commitment would be best demonstrated by the student nurse reviewing the disaster plan of the hospital and unit. It indicates that the student is committed to the safety of all. Checking with the clients again may disturb them from needed rest. Following the charge nurse is good if the charge nurse is agreeable, but reviewing the disaster plan is better. Taking the assigned break early is not a sign of commitment. Okay, next question. The nursing student is on the unit for clinical for the first time. After the report, the charge nurse takes the student around to introduce the student to the other nurses and the physicians. The student recognizes that the charge nurse is competent at nursing care, knowledgeable about the clients on the unit, following the orders of the manager, or committed to socializing the student to the unit. So let's take a few seconds here to choose your answer. Okay, one of the best ways to show commitment to nursing is to treat students and new nurses in a way that makes them feel welcome to the profession. So one way to demonstrate that is to socialize new students by introducing them to unit members. The student would be unable to determine the competence or knowledge of the charge nurse from this exchange. The charge nurse may be following the unit manager's orders, but if performed in a warm manner, the conduct would be seen as positive by the student. Okay, another question. The nurse manager is talking with the charge nurse who tells the manager that there is difficulty with a staff nurse who consistently is a few minutes late for work every time the nurse is scheduled to work. The nurse manager suspects this person is a member of Generation X, a member of the millennial generation, a veteran, or a baby boomer. Which of those do you think it is? So the most likely candidate to be late is the Generation X nurse because this group believes that having control of their time is an important need. A millennial generation nurse might be the second most likely one to be late, but this group is highly motivated to succeed and be highly productive. The veteran nurse and baby boomers are loyal and have a respect for authority, recognizing that tardiness causes disruption in the unit functioning. Okay. A nurse is discussing the care for the shift with the client. The nurse is including the client in decision making about when various planned activities would be most convenient for the client. The nurse benefits from this professional behavior because work will be completed on time, the nurse gains the trust of the client will do most of the work, or the client's family will help with the work. Okay, the nurse is including the client in the process and is demonstrating respect for the client, which will build the client's trust in the nurse. Gaining trust does not help the workload. The client may or may not participate in care. That depends on the client's abilities. And then the family's participation in the client's care is not in evidence here. Okay, so looking to the future. So nursing's public image. 25 years ago, society perceived nurses in gender-linked, task-oriented terms. Popular media has improved somewhat in their portrayal of nurses. That's essentially it for looking to the future. Although professional organizations should be a part of looking towards your future. So there's the American Nurses Association, which we're just going to look into some of these professional organizations. And maybe there's something that you'd like to join. So they work for improvement of healthcare standards. They promote availability of healthcare services. They foster high standards for nursing. They promote the right of nurses in the workplace. They stimulate and promote the professional development of nurses. And they advance nurses' economic and general welfare. So they're the ANA social policy statement, the social context of nursing practice. It's the nature and scope of nursing practice, specialization in nursing practice, regulation of nursing practice, and the ethics of nursing practice are reviewed by the House of Delegates. Benefits to membership. The primary voice of nursing in the United States. It's a very well-known organization. They provide continuing education. There's representation in the workplace and political arena. And they have many position statements on contemporary issues of importance of nurses. There's the National League for Nursing, or the NLN. Membership is open to the other health professionals and interested consumers, not just nurses. They participate in test services, research, and publications. They lobby actively for nursing issues. They are also currently working with the ANA and other nursing organizations on healthcare reform. So they're also, the National League for Nursing is an accreditation commission. So they accredit colleges and schools of nursing. They provide test services, publications, and advocacy. The National League for Nursing Accrediting Agency, the NLNAC, has become the ACEN or ACEN, the Accreditation Commission for Education and Nursing. There's also the National Organization for Associate Degree Nursing. Associate degree nursing programs prepare the largest number of new graduates for RN licensure. Began in 1986 and the organizational affiliate of ANA as of 2013. Their role is that they provide strong educational programs, dynamic education of students in a variety of settings. So they have an emphasis on lifelong learning and continued articulation with colleges and universities. Two major goals include maintaining eligibility for licensure for associate degree graduates and to interact with other nursing organizations, which they are the affiliate of the ANA. It's a mission to provide visionary leadership in nursing education to improve the health and well-being of our communities. So other organizations, they include the National Student Nurses Association, or the NSNA. The associate degree, baccalaureate, and diploma program students are eligible. There's conferences, career development, and board reviews. There's also the American Academy of Nursing, which is leaders in nursing practice, education, administration, and research. They have a mission to advance health policy and practice, and the new members are nominated and elected. There's the National Institute for Nursing Research, which is a federal agency. They support and conduct basic and applied research. They also support research training of nurse scientists. That sounds interesting. There's specialty organizations, which nurses may join as well. They provide nurses with information regarding standards of practice and evidence-based practice within specialty areas. And then they also focus on specific practice areas or interest groups. So issues with nursing today are listed here. And then some aspects to consider with starting your nursing career include preventing patient care errors, including medication errors, an emphasis on outcomes, changing competencies, improve the infection control, inadequate staffing increases patient mortality, and then the aging nursing workforce. So just some issues and aspects to consider when you start out in your new career. So with the idea of what the future of nursing holds, consider how you would like the nursing profession to evolve. Some ideas for the future include a more holistic, patient-centered care, seamless transitions from hospital to extended care at home, to eliminate health disparities, to have universal health care insurance, to equalize the emphasis on prevention, acute care, long-term care, mental health, to have a healthier environment, and looking towards global health concerns. So in conclusion, nursing has a rich and exciting future. Nursing is cyclical, nursing is diverse, nursing deals with individuals, their health, and their environments, and we're there to meet the needs of the future. Nurses need to become involved in advocacy and research. And that concludes this lecture. Thank you.